The laughter of kids filled the air as Uncle Danny blew the horn for the beginning of the annual Easter egg hunt. The shrieks of younger cousins, nephews, and nieces danced in my eardrums as they frockled out, searching for the grass and bushes of my uncle's property for those colorful little eggs. Alas, I had just turned 16 and had finally grew out of those childish habits. The last few years I went along with the little ones' pleas, and I would join in on their hunt. But sometimes had changed, and I was more interested in more grown-up things, like getting out to eat at an actual table this year, and not some pulled-out little poker table that was too short for my teenage body. "So you saw the new changes?" Jacob asked me with the overwhelming hint of sarcasm. Jacob and I got along very well, despite the 3-year age gap. We played a lot of games together online, so when my family made this yearling spring trip up to his house, I was excited to get to talk with him face to face. We were still living in the living room, sitting and chatting about one of our favorite games, pawing through the buckets of treats that the Easter Bunny had left for us. I finally decided on a boxed chocolate bunny while explaining my disdain for my recent game patch. I popped open the cardboard top and turned the box sideways, letting the brown replica slide out into my hand. I looked up at my cousin. "You ain't gonna lecture me on ruining my dinner." Jacob laughed and then waved his head. "I couldn't give less of a damn. Go for it." I chuckled as well, then chomped on the head of the chocolate mass. My teeth broke through the surface immediately, and my heart jumped at surprise. Guess I didn't see that it was hollow. Cheap companies. Why make a chocolate bunny if you're not gonna... That's when I hit the liquid. It was gooey, thick, and like maple syrup of some kind. So I thought it was a filling, but then came the taste. Metallic. After that, the feeling some stringy, fibrous mass getting stuck between my teeth. My brain raced to try to understand with a weird collection of textures and tastes that were rushing at me. And when I couldn't, I spit out whatever I already had on the floor. Meat and blood were staining my uncle's living room carpet. I stared into the bunny's neck and seeing the dripping crimson ooze coming out. I tried to tell myself it was just filling, strawberry jam, raspberry, cherry, but the taste only solidified in my mouth the longer it went on, and I was nearly in tears when I came to the truth. "Oh, Peter, no more of that. Dinner's ready. You'll spoil your appetite." I whipped my head around to see my Aunt Lindsay standing over me, her arms poised over her hip in the manner adults do when they're upset about something. I pointed at the bunny, trying to explain the horrific situation, but I could only sputter as she grabbed my arm and gestured for Jacob to follow. "Oh, come along, you two. Now, Peter, I know you're 16 this year, which means you get to join us at the adult table. Isn't that nice?" My mouth still struggled to try to make sounds as Lindsay took us to the dining room, but it quickly gave up trying. A man strode out across the table, his thighs in my mother's and father's mouths, his arm on my grandmother's plate, and his head and torso naked and burned into the center of the table. Uncle Danny was cutting into the man's back with a fork and knife. I watched as he took a piece and placed it on this plate, then smiled at me. "Petey, come on, have a seat." I couldn't move, so Lindsay did that part for me. She seated me down across from my father, and Jacob sat to my left as Danny cut him a piece too. When the meat landed on my plate, I was paralyzed in disgust and horror. It took every ounce of me not to puke there and then at my table. My eyes darted up and down at the table, seeing every monster there with their hands clasped together as Danny gave grace. "This is my body, which will be given up for you." What's up, my pretties? It's the Lion Queen here. I want to appreciate you all for tuning into this video, and I do appreciate you guys supporting my video by giving this video likes and stuff. If you really enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like, comment and subscribe if you're new, ring the bell for notifications to when I upload so that way you guys will get updated for whenever I upload. If you want to follow me on Twitter or DeviantArt, feel free to leave a follow on those if you are interested in following me on those socials. If you want to support my backup channel, known as Miss Dark Shigo, feel free to subscribe to it, as a link to that will also be in the About page section. And with that being said, and that being the case, thank you so much for watching, my pretties, and as always, stay pretty.